Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're decoding the exact morning habits that drive billionaire success, and we're going to validate them with hard neuroscience so you can optimize your very own routine. If you've ever wondered how the world's top performers just squeeze so much out of their days to achieve the impossible, well, you're in exactly the right place. So, to kick things off, I've got to ask you a question that really gets to the core of what separates average performers from peak achievers. Think about it. What do a billionaire CEO and a Stanford neuroscientist actually have in common before 8 a.m.? I'll tell you right now, it's not about torturing yourself with a blaring alarm clock, and it's definitely not about that toxic hustle culture. No, it's entirely about brain chemistry and just unyielding intentionality. Part 1. The Billionaire Morning Mindset. Let's dive right in and look at how some of the most successful minds on the planet structure their first waking hours. Now, this brilliantly illustrates the power of contrast, because it proves there isn't just one correct way to start your day. Take Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. The guy wakes up naturally around 7 a.m. and loves to just putter. He makes coffee, reads the newspaper, does absolutely nothing rigorous. But then, contrast that with Tom Bilyeu, the co-founder of Quest Nutrition. He's up at 3 or 4 a.m. and hits his home gym within 10 minutes to build what he calls credibility with himself. So here we have two massively successful entrepreneurs using two completely opposite approaches to that crucial first hour. But here's the thing. The crucial point isn't actually the wake-up time itself. It's the biological foundation beneath it. Bezos literally treats his 8 hours of sleep like a non-negotiable business decision. As an executive, his main job is to make a small number of really high-quality decisions every single day. And you just can't do that if your working memory and emotional regulation are totally shot from sleep deprivation, right? Basically, Bezos is fiercely protecting his cognitive capital. Now, what's really fascinating here is the shared intentionality between these two guys. Even with their drastically different schedules, neither of them checks their email first thing in the morning. Bilyeu waits a solid 5 to 7 hours before opening his inbox, and Bezos, he straight up refuses to take any hard meetings before 10 a.m. Why? Because checking email means you're instantly letting someone else's agenda dictate your priorities. They're making a conscious choice to aggressively direct their mornings, rather than just reacting to the rest of the world. Section 2. The Neuroscience of Waking Up. Let's transition from the mindset of billionaires to the actual chemistry of our brains, looking at Stanford neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman's foundational research. So, Dr. Huberman has this neuro-optimized blueprint, and it's actually a remarkably simple checklist that perfectly syncs your actions with your environment. First up, you need natural sunlight in your eyes within 30 to 60 minutes of waking. This literally sets your body's internal clock and triggers a really healthy spike in cortisol. Next, hydrate with electrolytes to replace what you lost overnight. Third, get moving. You want to raise your core temperature and wake up that nervous system. And finally, and honestly, this is a massive one, delay your caffeine intake. Seriously, if you're the kind of person who reaches for a coffee the absolute second your eyes open, you're going to want to pay attention to this. When you wake up, your brain is still clearing out a sleepiness chemical called adenosine. If you chug caffeine right away, you block the adenosine receptors. Sure, but you don't actually clear the chemical out of your system. So when that caffeine inevitably wears off, bam, all that adenosine comes flooding back in and you hit that massive, dreaded 2 p.m. energy crash. But by holding off on the coffee for about 90 to 120 minutes, you actually let your natural cortisol wake you up, which safeguards your energy for the whole entire day. Moving on to Section 3, the 20-20-20 Success Formula. Now that we've got the biological foundation down, let's look at a highly structured framework you can actually apply tomorrow morning to hit the ground running. All right, so this is Robin Sharma's famous 5 a.m. Club Victory Hour, and it operates on this really powerful 20-20-20 split. The first 20 minutes, that's for intense movement, to literally sweat out the fear hormone, cortisol, and boost your dopamine. The second 20 minutes are dedicated to reflection, think journaling or meditating, to really connect with your deep priorities. And the final 20 minutes are all about growth, like reading a business book or learning something new. You see, right after you wake up, your brain is naturally in this theta wave state. It's kind of like a Zen mode that's absolutely perfect for clarity and creativity. This routine just capitalizes on that exact magical window. And let's look at how this can build into a super actionable habit. Tom Bilyeu uses a technique he actually coined called think-a-tating. Basically, after he meditates, his brain is just bathed in these relaxing alpha waves. But instead of just getting up and rushing right back into the chaos of normal life, he consciously holds on to that calm state. He uses it to solve his absolute toughest business problems. It empowers him to make these novel, creative connections that a stressed out brain just simply cannot access. Section 4. Respect your biological clock. Now, you might be thinking, wait, what if waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. sounds like literal torture to me? What if you're physically exhausted just hearing about it? Well, here's the plot twist for you. The standard 9 to 5 schedule and all that societal pressure to be a 5 a.m. early bird, it completely ignores human biology. Look at this data from the Munich Chronotype questionnaire. They analyzed over 185,000 people, and get this, only about 29% of people are naturally early birds. Meanwhile, a massive 41% are naturally late chronotypes, meaning they're night owls. Crazy, right? This sheer diversity in our internal timing introduces a really cool concept called chronoleadership. See, deep inside your brain, you have this master clock called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, and it dictates a unique genetic biological rhythm specifically for you. So forcing a natural night owl to wake up at 5 a.m. to do complex knowledge work, you're basically fighting millions of years of evolution. Honestly, it just leads straight to chronic sleep deprivation and burnout. So the real secret here isn't forcing a 5 a.m. wake up if you're biologically wired for the night. The actual secret is recognizing your personal chronotype and aligning your hardest work with your peak biological energy. So, early birds, you should tackle your complex tasks right away in the morning. But night owls, you need to black out deep work sessions for the afternoon or even the evening, whenever your cognitive sharpness finally peaks. The only universal rule for both, you absolutely need a consistently maintained sleep window and not morning sunlight to keep your internal clock calibrated. Which brings us to Section 5, building the 66-day habit. So how do we actually install these neuro-optimized routines into our lives without, getting super motivated on a Sunday and then completely quitting by Wednesday? Well, according to Robin Sharma's research, it takes exactly 66 days to hardwire a new habit. It is definitely not 21 days like that old pop psychology myth loves to claim. You actually go through 3 distinct phases. First is the destruction phase, where you're painfully tearing down your old, comfortable sleep patterns. Next comes installation. This is where things feel pretty chaotic, but powerful new neural pathways are actually beginning to form. And finally, you hit integration, which is where the habit permanently cements itself into your daily life. Now, if you commit to this, expect to hit a massive, frankly demoralizing wall right around day 19. Your body's going to fight you. You will want nothing more than to just stay in bed. But listen closely here. This is exactly where average stops and exceptional begins. Like Sharma says, the soreness of growth is just so much less expensive than the devastating costs of regret. You have to push through that resistance, because if you do, by day 66, you reach what's called the automaticity point. This is the amazing breakthrough where waking up and executing your routine requires almost zero willpower. It's no longer just something you do, it literally becomes who you are. Ultimately, your morning routine is the launch pad for your entire life. Whether you're puttering around like Jeff Bezos, sweating it out at 4 a.m. like Tom Bilyeu, or optimizing your light exposure like Dr. Huberman, the end goal is always the same: uncompromising intentionality. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative challenge. Are you ready to reclaim your cognitive capital? Think about it. What time will you set your alarm for tomorrow morning? And what is the very first thing you're going to do when it goes off? Choose wisely, because that single decision sets the absolute tone for your success.